on this map exactly, and Rise ended up taking Fire and Ice out in their semifinal in Game 1, also on District, and that was a 5-4 scoreline. Along with that, Rise Nation played that one versus Reciprocity in round 1, and also took that one in a 5-1 fashion. I'm going to throw a few more numbers out there, Ryan, because I was actually watching Rise Nation play on Training Grounds just to see exactly like how they were doing versus Fire and Ice. On Training Grounds, in which they won that game 5-1, there was a combined 102 and 36 combined for Enzem, Avexes, and Shock. That is a 67 kill difference, good enough for a 2.86 KD. And the man who led that entire fray of elims, if you will, was good old Enzem, 39 and 13 on that map as well. So there are 3 guys, actually Detox as well finished off 34 and 13. I mean, there's really a team aspect about Rise Nation. It is not just one player. It has been all 4 guys at different times really being the difference when it comes down to their games, which is a very scary sight to see for NRG, a collective effort, or rather a kind of a consistent effort as well from the opposition. That's never fun to face off against.
No, absolutely. And again, one of the turning points for this Rise Nation team for the worst was when they did lose Powers, who's a very heavy slayer. So now to kind of fill that role with a player like Enzem, who's obviously capable of doing a ton of slaying himself, seems to be working for them at least as of right now. So loving this kind of new look Rise Nation and seeing kind of where they start to improve. And as we hop on a District, it looks like NRG are the team to kind of strike first, get that early advantage. They're trying to move forward, and Rise Nation is there to be on the defense, but Summons, always that pesky player in the back, has hopped on the C hill, at least gotten the break, and just going to be that thorn in the side as one of his best friends in the world, Drix, approaches him for that home hill. It's always fun when those two kind of face off against each other, and looks like it's Drix who is going to get the better of Summons and reclaim that C hill.
Looks if they will in fact do so, as you called it, Rise Nation, maybe a little bit of a better spot than they were maybe about 30 seconds ago. Regardless, NRG maybe starting to resize, get a little bit of an idea, as they did lose player number 2, a.k.a. Solars, over at B. They're now left to reference back. Keep in mind, take a look at the top right of our screen. Red, a.k.a. Rise Nation, is starting to push back the blue squadron of NRG back. However, NRG starts to level things, and now we meet ourselves at the 50-yard line. Question being, do they want to force it at B or go for that double home hill setup based on the players allocated? It seems to be that B is the focus for now. Solar still watching out to that middle side for a near rotation as Detox going to gain that information, does get flashed down, and here comes the fray of NRG. They try to lock down one perspective, and Detox wants to make his presence felt, obviously can't do that, and now they make the rotation toward A to try to make NRG's life a little bit more difficult.
You're going to see Mental on that backside as all the hills start to get kind of capped and decapped. Rise Nation's done a good job getting back into this. They need to kind of keep moving forward. You're going to see NRG starting to collapse over towards B. It's such a hard hill to get sometimes when obviously the team's surrounding it with Lancers. Looks like Rise doing a pretty good job despite all this Lancer fire, staying alive, getting revives, playing together, and starting to get some kills on the board.
Oh, on here for a second.
That was interesting what Enzem did. You see how he actually, I'm going to use that at home myself, by the way. So he was the player getting revived. He shot the player getting revived, and then instantly, because you can melee so quickly after shooting, he went for the shot on the players getting down, and then the melee to stun the player that's getting the revive. So it didn't quite work out, but that's a move that's very, very quick thinking in that situation. And again, from a young player who's kind of new to the scene, from the upper echelon level, very, very impressive. And now Rise Nation trying their best to slay out. Detox going to get one. There's a revive. He gets the revive on his teammate, and the Avexes is there for the trade. Great play by Detox, and that should give Rise the round right now. And they get the break on B.
That's theirs.
So Rise Nation takes it. NRG started off so strong. And Rise stayed diligent, clutched up when it mattered. A couple of big plays coming in from some of their Slayers. They put the first round on the board.
And that was intense because I know as we kind of approached that fight, it was Avexes who was staying alive and somehow managed to take down, I think it was 1 or 2 players before that fight even took place. So major props to Rise Nation in the clutch moments there at the end, and Enzem, just for good measure, decides to level NRG over at B. Tell you what, if that's any indicator for how the rest of this game, rather the rest of this series is going to go, we are all in for a treat. Like we said, the first time Rise Nation has been in a grand final of Emergence days here in Gears of War 5. I know Taylor kind of referenced it earlier. Pretty much the kings at the end of Gears of War 4. Granted, not every single roster was in it, so you have to take that into consideration, but still, they were getting a lot of reps in at the end of Gears of War 4. But like we said, round number 2 in play. It looks as if Drix is trying to look for a certain perspective. Mental already flashed out. Have to be very careful of his side as it actually is going to be Explosive who's there. 2 players down, and we'll see who can walk away with it. It is going to be good old Billy. Mental walking away with it and also getting some extra help when it came down to the Lancer from afar. That's good enough for a 5 down, and NRG in record fashion lock up this second one.
Yeah, definitely they cannot be happy the way that first round turned out. So big plays coming in from Mental and Explosive in that bandstand fight. You saw Mental kind of staying composed, right, lining that shot up and hitting that full spread that put the member of Rise Nation kind of on their toes. And he's able to finish that fight. Of course, on the other end, he has some of the best teammates of all time. They obviously can finish their fights at any given time. And obviously when the stars align with this team, it gets very, very scary. And you saw that within the 35 seconds, the round was over.
Very quick one for those Emergence Days historians. If you were with us in week 2, these 2 teams actually faced off against one another. It was NRG who walked away with that 2-0, winning Training Grounds. At the time, of course, it was 1-7. They won that one 7-1 and Exhibit 7-3. So NRG, at least in terms of previous head-to-head, has walked away with it. But this is, without question, a totally different Rise Nation roster, invigorated with new additions in terms of the staff and even the players. Like we said, they have turned heel very quickly. Mental looking to do some mental things. Is up close, actually gets dropped. Lovely elimination coming through from Detox. Unfortunately, he was so full red that just a few Lancer shots will put him down as well.
There you see Solar's now. A couple members of Rise Nation looking to approach him on that hill. You see Vexi's in the kill feed as well. Got to back off. Obviously, has a couple teammates coming off spawn. As we head towards the later stage of this half, the respawns will get a little quicker and a little quicker. Current advantages to Rise Nation of that 2-cap building that lead. And again, that B hill can be so difficult to get that break on when there's a good setup around it. Kind of look at the mini-map. You're seeing where kind of NRG is trying to make their push towards, see a couple members towards A, a couple towards mid. Now the decision gets made, do they make that push towards the home hill, do they go for the OE, or do they try to push that B hill? Vexi's is the first member they're going to target, and they're going to succeed. That should give them a pretty clear path over to that home hill. It looks like on the other end, someone snuck over to potentially their home hill.
Yeah, they're not taking that round yet. That's nerve-wracking. That's player 6, a.k.a. Shock, who's trying to be a thorn in the side and actually ends up providing for somewhat of a pinch for Summons, who's pretty much all alone at B, but still actually ends up taking down Inzem. He's got a few more players in the line sight and try to be oh so careful when the situation calls for it. Does at least take down 2. Drix is going to be here to shut down Praise. An Explosive overall man count advantage definitely granted toward NRG, so maybe that home hill rush over at C maybe was the right call, as now Solars is going to be here to battle for it. It was at the moment a 1 versus 1, but you like that play from NRG, right? They take back over at B, and they're also forcing Rise to the back of their base. As Inzem's just trying to take shelter.
Yeah, and a break there would be pretty big for NRG. You can see on the top of your screen, Swarm are still in position to win if they hold the 1 hill. Of course, it would be pretty close according to the scoreline, so if I'm Rise Nation, I wouldn't want to play on just that opportunity, and they're going to continue to push forward despite having the win condition. That's going to be 3 down for NRG. The OE is going to likely come in. They're going to probably hop on that A hill as well. You're going to see Mental and Drix fighting off towards B. Mental's going to win that fight. The Rise Nation now have controlled basically all 3 objectives. You're going to see Shock on B. Members of NRG choosing not to spawn up. You're going to see Solar, Summons, Explosive, Praise, all at 0%. That means they're not hopping back in the game. They have conceded defeat on that round. Big plays coming in from Rise Nation. Very back and forth map so far, but as the Swarm team on their map pick, who are kind of setting the pace.
Yeah, in the early stages, you like what you're seeing. Inzem, the young gun, 15-5 through 3 rounds. What has been your biggest, I would say, what are you most impressed by from this guy Inzem? We've got to watch him in pretty much all 3 series, right? In round 1, we got to watch him. We saw him in the semifinals, and obviously here in game 1 versus NRG. What do you like the most about this young gun?
He's making big plays, and he's making confident plays against some of the best players in the world. Of course, he was playing sort of in the AM scene earlier, so the competition you're scrimming against on a daily basis, you're getting some good reps against pro teams once in a while, but in reality, you're playing a lot of amateur teams. You're not playing the best teams in the world who have those setups, have that teamwork, and so to me, to see him kind of make these big plays and some of these very composed plays is kind of what gives me hope for him as a player as he kind of starts to break into this upper echelon of top teams in North America.
Yeah, he's definitely impressed. Obviously at San Diego and, of course, here tonight as well. We'll see if he can continue his level of slaying as he's currently blind for the moment. Trying to gain some communication is a nice shot from Solars. I think that one even caught Enzem off guard. As the rush is made forward, you're hearing the knives already out. There goes Emergence. As that's going to be 2 down, at least rather almost 3 down off the start for Rise Nation. As a good break-off for NRG. That's been one of the biggest factors for Rise Nation's success, at least in their round 1 victory versus Reciprocity. The biggest positive we were taking away was their initials. They could not be stopped, and looks if NRG trying to weather the storm here now. As here comes the flash. Drix trying to provide some support fire as Enzem is up close. Currently full red and just wants to reset. Firing through with that Lancer, gets a lot of the damage and just trying to distance the members from NRG out of B. And despite the success and pretty much gaining real estate, they haven't really done a whole lot of work when it comes down to that objective. But of course, as soon as I say that, Enzem providing some cover fire for Drix. Drix ends up getting taken down officially. 1 versus 2, and a lovely shot from Enzem does officially take down 1. But nonetheless, it will be Rise who ends up losing control over at B.
And the Kofi's starting to light up blue. NRG beginning to move forward. Summon's taking a low health. You see Explosive getting that big full spread. And he moves so quickly, he can close that gap so fast. And he's going to make Detox pay. Currently 4-4 on the map. You're going to see NRG heading over towards that A and C setup once again. Meanwhile, Rise Nation jumping over towards B, getting that full cap. But if he's forced back, I mean, that they can do praise, explosive, summons. They're all there. They're all waiting.
That's starting to get away as well.
You see now, Rise is kind of doubling back to that hill. At the very least, NRG to get the full cap on it. So a big fight's going to ensue right here. It's going to be a telling tale, of course, with Rise holding B. If they can win this fight, they'll just have a beeline over to the NRG home hill. You see, ends up getting a couple downs on explosive. Solar's answers back. Another down. NRG looking like they're going to be the victors of this fight. It's going to be 3 dead. Enzem and Drix the last alive. And Drix trying to kind of play with the C hill. Mental's there waiting. I think he knows nothing he can do there. This round looking like is going to be NRG explosive hopping on B for good measure. Enzem wins the fight. Let's see what it's for. NRG still has the 1 hill that matters. Looks like, yeah, a couple members of Rise are going to approach this kind of last-ditch effort they're going to need. A wipe here would mean absolutely everything. They're on the hill. This could be the start.
This is.
Couple members are down for NRG right now. Someone's going to be on his last respawn, of course, last round of the half. Rise Nation making this interesting. That's 3 dead, Landon. The last 2 are in spawn. No one's on B, though.
Oh, no.
And Summons gets dropped.
Oh, no.
If Rise can at least hold this down
Summons is out officially. He's gone.
A little while longer, I mean, Rise Nation could, in theory, hold the 2 cap.
This is getting interesting. NRG backs against the wall. They just need 1 hill. You see them instantly force their way over at B. Can Mental get the cap off? Unfortunately, he can't. He's being tagged in from so many different directions. However, keep in mind C. That's where Praised and Co are at. Shock trying to hop on B. It looks as if that cap is officially in, and that should be it. And it will, despite a scary end to that 4th round. NRG just by the skin of their teeth get that one off, and they narrowly grab what was a very close ending to our first half as we're level at 2.
Yeah, that almost got away from them there. Of course, Praise made a big play on the home hill when it mattered. But even, like I said, even some of the rounds that Rise are losing, I'm liking the fight they're showing, right?
Yeah.
They've been in it to the end every single round almost so far outside of like the 1 round they got wiped off the map. But they're keeping up right now, of course. They're looking good on the map that the NRG has looked a little weak on in the past, right? So, of course, this is a map that the NRG is still definitely in the process of working on. Either way, here Rise, this is a great opportunity for you to get ahead, and it's plays like that by Enzem getting the party started. As NRG quickly loses 3 players, and this is long spawn. Praise dies here. It's going to be all up to Summons. Summons has to stay alive as long as he can. These players are going to be surrounding him soon.
Picked
I'm going to even get on the hill, yeah.
Oh, Summons can do something special. He does take down Emergence for good measure, but still yet. Looks as if it will be NRG, like we said, still spawning up, going for that home hill. It looks as if it will be somewhat successful. Just as I say that, though, they run right into the blender. Praised, unfortunately, has to run around the map solo. Maybe hearing a few frustrated comms in that moment, but that was straight up domination from the boys on Rise. Even from the very initial stages, it was just, like we said, picked apart. Like I said, man, it's a
NZem
matter.
at the top.
It is. It's NZem 23-8, 21-6 for Shock. It really is the consistency. I mean, right now, 14-11, still a solid scoreline for Emergence, but he has been the all-star tonight, and the fact that you don't need your main Slayer throughout the night to perform against the best team in NRG just goes to show the layers that Rise Nation are showing that they have now. Like we said, it was at times Detox. In that one particular series on Training Grounds versus Fire and Ice, it was NZem, Emergence, and Shock together. This team has so many layers, and that, I think, like I said, it's the scariest part as NZem is putting Solars in a highlight reel, and so does Praise.
He's continuing to move forward, too. You see the confidence he's playing with. It's so fun to watch a young player kind of come into his own, and Rise Nation is slaying out. Mental going to be stuck between a rock and a hard place over in Bandstand. You're going to see Summons at least still doing his thing, man. Summons has been so consistent. He's always been a consistent player throughout his whole career and just continues to keep this team in the fights. That's why they become so hard to beat sometimes, and Summons doesn't often get enough credit for what he does for this group of guys. But like I said, you look at the initial, you see NZem, right? He's putting Solars in a coffin again, then following it up with another kill. If he's playing with confidence, that's going to be a scary, scary sight on some of these initials.
I think it's fair to say, just through the halfway through the first map, Rise Nation is showing NRG why they demand to be respected. Here comes the flash, the young gun. Gonna have to get used to those flashes, those cameras. Just a matter of time. Has to back away though. Keeping in mind, D, E, and F all in limbo, mostly positive for NRG. As he'll take E and F. Solars is at least making this one competitive. Don't tell me he's about to find the second. Drix counting his good graces as Solars decides to take a little bit of a breather. Like I said, the fight continues on. Rise Nation finally back to earning some points here as they'll grab back D. But to no avail, you like that push from NRG. You like the confidence that they're willing to take. Like we said, a 1v2, normally players would back up instantly. NRG, they're pushing their chest out and saying, hey, we're here for a reason. We have no problem engaging on situations of which we may not look the most favored.
I think you mentioned NRG still holding that lead. Rise is deciding where their push is going to be. They're making the move over towards the neutral, but NRG is there waiting. A couple big kills over at Bandstand. That's going to keep the E-Hill in their favor. If you're Rise, you don't want to use too many respawns right now. You're in the second half. You're going to see Shock. He's down to 2. Might be time right now to kind of concede that round. You're at 3 dead. You're about to pass the 200-point mark. I don't see it worth throwing that respawn away. And yeah, you're going to see Shock choosing not to get back in there. You can't imagine Drix or Detox will either. Trip cap starting to go underway. At this point, NZem just kind of adding some stats to the highlight reel, if anything, before he finally gets dropped as well.
For good reason. Hey, you got a free bucket. Take it. Hey, why not, right? Still, very impressive performance from both sides. Actually, we've had a few rounds that have been somewhat quick, but just in general, the scoreline is indicative of how this game has actually been played. NZem still leading the lobby at 27 eliminations. On the other side, those Solars at 23. And the question is, who can get to that map point first? A big, big round for either of these two sides. Keeping in mind, this was Rise's pick. They're currently 2-0 on the night in District. As far as we know, for when has been on broadcast, NRG 1-0 on District themselves. But here we go, Ryan. Excited to see how this one plays out. Who can grab that 4th round first?
I'm looking at NZem again. His initials have been so strong as of late. Teammates actually get the down on Solars. Gets to make NZem's life a little easier now. He can go help on to Mental, who probably doesn't even know he's coming. There it is.
Just the space that he covers is so impressive. It's just one engagement to the next. I mean, he's always doing something that is advantageous for his team.
You're going to see Summons once again forced to sit there and make a play. It's going to finally be dropped by Emergence. NZem gets a little too far up on the side of NRG. Emergence is there. Solars hits him with the bricks, forced to kind of move back. As we continue on, like I said, that kind of stalemate situation sometimes on these initials. It is Rise Nation, however, with the neutral hill. They're the ones kind of building the lead. They're okay with this slow-paced round. Of course, in Escalation 2.0, when you get 2-1 points on the hills, that opportunity to build a lead can happen so quickly. You're going to see NRG choosing not to play for the neutral, instead to maybe head over towards the Rise Nation home hill. Vexies and Co are there waiting. Here comes the flash, big play coming in from NRG. Can they make the push? Can it succeed? Here come the reinforcements that breaks the first step. Now they need the kills. Summons gets one. Detox gonna get 2 members of NRG before being dropped by Praise. There's a Vexies though for the trade. Good trades coming in from Rise. At the very least, NRG has hopped on the neutral hill. They are 3 down. Rise Nation almost back at full strength. And now they're on D.
Low in numbers is NRG, at least for the moment, as Praised back on the map. Rise still forcing the issue, as it will be NRG recapping up D. In limbo, Enzem, Shock. 2 versus 3 fight, at least for the moment, as forces continue to push their way through. Shots in from either side. Enzem, full red, having to back up. And Detox, the lone man, trying to have some support fire from Enzem across the way. Actually takes down Explosive. Can Detox take down another? Unfortunately, he can't. Mental is actually going to take him down. So a 1-for-1 trade up to this point. Like we said, E, the primary target, the knife to the heart from Enzem, also grabs the body shield. The pistols, oh so superior, as there goes Mental as well. A wrecking crew for Rise Nation, as they will take back E, at least it looks to be that way. And they will, just as we enter an even scoreline. Rise, they get the 2 hills now back in their favor. And NRG is forced to make the rush. Solar's the first man through, having to back up. Like we said, Lancer Fire coming in from every direction. Enzem not making this one light. However, keeping in mind, D actually going the other way right now. Rise Nation being very aware of the long game, not just over at E. Double home hills nearly locked in. 25 points away for Rise Nation to lock up a very influential round.
A nice shot by a Vexies. To keep that F hill, they're going to hop on both, get these caps. Oh, man. And that should be a Rise Nation round. Great plays coming in from this team. Again, the resiliency we're seeing out of this group of guys all throughout this tournament has been so, so fun to watch. And just look how back and forth Literally landed. No team has chained together 2 in a row. Yeah. If there's ever a time for Rise Nation to chain 2 rounds together, it's right now, right? It's the point to finish the map.
Especially versus NRG. You feel like it has to happen now.
That map 1 lead is very crucial. Again, you never want your backs against the wall against them. You want to put them on their toes. Keep in mind, Rise Nation played NRG very, very tight at San Diego as well. So definitely a team who's taken them to the wire before. Of course, different circumstances now. Obviously, different team. A lot of things very different on both sides. But again, like a team that's at least had some confidence against a team that most people fold against.
Oh, man, it's about to be exciting. Will we see a final round or a Rise Nation going to take down NRG in game number 1? Keeping in mind, this was their map pick here on District. Can they make it a perfect 3-0 on the night? About to find out. Enzem, like we said, the shining star is pretty bright right now. Unfortunately, Solar's turning him all the way red. Decides to back up, waiting for a few of his squad mates. The shot grenade gets rocked. Explosive, however, takes a different route. Gets some damage done onto a Vexies 3 versus 2, and Solar's not confident about the position. Decides to reference back and go for the objective instead. Detox and Bandstand actually shuts down Mental, and here comes Explosive, actually takes him down. Lovely work with the knife, carving into the opponent and using them for fun. Explosive, though, having to really put up some miraculous performance up close, and he's not going to be able to do that as Rise Nation, just too many players all at once.
Yeah, NRG built a small lead, but you can see how quickly that's going to be erased. Rise Nation putting themselves in a good position now, getting that map control. That E-hill can be so, so difficult to break at times. Let's see where NRG chooses to make their push. Looks like they're heading over towards the neutral. I love Mental knows that Vexies is sitting right there. Could lead to a lot of destruction if they try to run right past him.
Try to be careful. I love this sneaky play. Praise is down.
Oh, and he gets caught. That's not what you want to see if you're NRG. Praise kind of getting caught with his pants down. Mental trying his best to equalize the numbers.
We can take the Explosive.
Almost gets the Vexies, but Shock is there. That's 2 dead. Now Explosive taking a very low health as well. He gets dropped. Big kills by Detox. That's 3 dead. Summons. Praise last alive. Praise on his final respawn. This is not looking good for NRG, at least as of right now. Look at the respawn economy on the other side of Rise Nation. Looks very, very healthy. Well, NRG with 2 players on 1, 2 players on 0. if you're Rise, you have the lead, you have the hills, you don't need to get uber aggressive, you just need to play for kills at this point. You have the lead, now make them pay.
NRG, it's time to leap into action. The score is starting to get away from them. They're going to have to cap pretty much every single hill in sight, and they've got 2 more to work on. But they also have to value their lives, the comms. NRG, a lot of prestige on this roster. They've been in situations like this before, but how can they deal with the new guys on the block? Rise feeling confident. They end up rushing for D, They want to try and get that one locked in. There goes Mental. However, Praise trying to stay alive, trying to dance his way around. Unfortunately, gets chunked himself. Shock on the ground. And actually, the body shield does come in before he ends up getting revived. So a big moment to keep into consideration. No points being gained for Rise. However, they do end up capping Mental, the last man alive. It is all consolation at this moment. The Flash, it's all for spoils, as Rise Nation will take this first map versus NRG in a 5-3 scoreline here on District. This has been their map from start to finish, as they have a 3-0 day on this map in particular here, Ryan.
Very, very strong start from Rise Nation, winning their map pick. That's what you want to do against a team like NRG. And on the flip side, NRG, again, kind of starting to reinsert District back into their map pool. We've seen them lose it last week to Fire and Ice. Now we've seen them lose it this week. They still have some work to do on this map. And now it's going to set up the series for a whole lot more fun. You got to imagine we might be seeing game number 5, or does Rise Nation truly take this lead and run away with it with a 2-0? A lot of action ahead still, and man, this has been so fun to watch, to see this Rise Nation team kind of grow with this new change and see what they have in store.
Oh, it's been a blast, and I think as well, we talked about the young gun. I know we've been kind of covering Enza more specifically. Of course, the staff doesn't get enough highlights for obvious reasons. They're not obviously on the screen, but Enzim just in particular finishes off this game most in the lobby. 40 eliminations, 40 kills, super impressive from this guy, especially versus NRG, right? It's different if you're putting up numbers versus maybe lower level teams, some amateur rosters, maybe teams that just aren't in their best form, but this is a top of the line roster, no question about it. And the fact that he's having probably his best game of the night versus arguably the best team, that's all that you can ask for out of a young gun, especially at this point on the team. It's not even like they've been